Today I will talk about our unit plan for Unit 3, Going Places. This is a unit plan for 8th grade students. In this unit, our team is conformed by Rocío Oces, Montserrat Álvarez, Felipe Cerda, and me, Maximo Adoro. Our lesson 1 is 90 minutes long. It has 4 parts: warm-up, beginning, development, and closure. By the end of this unit, students will be able to describe travel destinations, express preferences, make suggestions, and ask questions about travel plans using appropriate vocabulary, structures, and connectors. The warm-up is the first activity. It takes 15 minutes. In this part, we ask students questions about their favorite places in Chile and where they would like to go. In the beginning part, students learn new vocabulary and connectors for describing places. This takes 15 minutes. We use a map of Chile to show popular places. And the development part is 45 minutes long. First, students read a short text about a trip across Chile. The text shows new vocabulary and connectors. Then students write a short paragraph about their dream trip in Chile. And after that, they share the writing with a partner. They give each other feedback to improve their work. And we give the students a worksheet to help them give a good feedback. And as for the closure, students will talk about what they have learned and how they can get better. And the teacher will give them feedback to correct any mistake. And that's all.
The lesson 2 is the following. The objective is to describe travel plans by using going to in an affirmative sentence. The warm-up, 50 minutes, the teacher will ask the student about what are they doing this weekend to refresh the memory and to start using the going to grammatical function. The teacher will write a few examples in the whiteboard, and then in the beginning of the class, the teacher will explain it in a more deep way so the student will understand it. And the teacher will encourage the students to share their plans in about the weekend. The teacher will hand out a worksheet to exercise it, and then in pairs, a student will choose a destination and describe a trip. For example, we're going to San Pedro de Atacama. Then the teacher will chop prompts with expression and vocabulary. To the closure, 50 minutes, at the end of the class, the student will be able to share their plans with the class, and the teacher will provide a positive feedback.
Lesson number 3. The principal objective for this lesson is to describe future travel plans using going to in negative form. To differentiate between affirmative and negative forms of going to. The materials that we will use for this class are a whiteboard, markers, a map of Chile, and worksheets. The lesson will take 19 minutes and it will consist of 4 stages, which are the warm-up, the beginning, development, and closure. Well, for the warm-up, the warm-up will take 10 minutes, and the teacher will start the class with a brief discussion about what are your plans for the upcoming holiday or weekend. The students will answer with I'm going to. And the teacher introduced negative form by asking what are you not going to do this weekend? And the teacher will write the answers on the board focusing on the structure I'm not going to. For the beginning, this will take 15 minutes. The teacher will explain the negative form of going to with examples and write affirmative and negative examples on the board. For example, for affirmative, I'm going to the park, and for negative, I'm not going to the park, focusing more on I'm not going to. Well, for the development, this stage will take 35 minutes, and students will work in pairs. For example, one student will ask, what are you going to this weekend to his classmates? And the other will answer with the negative form. After that, the students switch roles after a few rounds. For the second activity, the teacher will show a map of Chile to the students, and they will choose 3 destinations they are not going to visit this summer and describe their plans using the negative form. I'm not going to. For example, I'm not going to the beach. And for the closure, this will take 15 minutes. The teacher will start a class discussion where volunteers share their destinations that they are not going to visit this weekend. And the teacher will provide proper feedback to the ones who need it and review the key structures of I'm not going to. For homework, the students will have to write a short paragraph about what they are not going to do this weekend. So this is the writing homework, my weekend plans in negative form. So in this worksheet, the students should write a short paragraph about 4 and 5 sentences about what they are not going to do this weekend using the negative form I'm not going to in its paragraph. For example, this weekend I'm not going to read a book. So that's it.
All right. And as for the last session before the summative test, students will perform various activities as part of the last formative assessment. And the objective of this particular session is to use language for expressing preferences, giving suggestions, and asking questions related to different travel destinations. Basically, what they've been doing throughout the entire session. Well, this lesson is going to take 90 minutes, as all of the other lessons. The stages of the lessons are going to be warm-up, beginning, a development, and a closure. And the materials that are going to be used during the class are sticky notes, markers, obviously the whiteboard, 20 pictures of different destinations that are going to be provided by the teacher, handmade flight tickets for travelers, and adhesive for the travel agents with the name of each travel agency, something that I will explain later. As for the warm-up, this is going to take around 10 minutes, and the idea is that students brainstorm dream destinations and write them on sticky notes. They will use them later for the next activity. These are going to be placed on the whiteboard, and the teacher will introduce phrases for making suggestions and expressing preferences, such as, how about this, how about that, and I prefer, I would rather, and for asking questions between their pairs. The beginning is going to take 15 minutes, and students are to pair up to discuss and negotiate travel destinations on the sticky notes that were previously stuck on the board. They have to use functional expressions introduced in the warm-up that are going to be written before the activity starts on the board as well. The the ones that were formerly mentioned. How about this? I prefer this. And what do you think about this? And these questions to negotiate travel destinations. Now, the development is going to take 45 minutes. And here's why we need these flying tickets and everything that I mentioned on the materials. The activity is called Travel Fair Simulation, where we will have to arrange the classroom into 5 travel booths, each featuring a destination with pictures and brochures. And we will divide the classroom into groups of 5 students, where some students are going to be performing or acting, making a role play, where some are going to have to act as travel agents and others are as travelers. The travel agents will present their assigned destinations that are going to be assigned by the teachers using prepared prompts that are going to be provided by the teacher. That's why we need the pictures of different destinations. And travelers will ask questions about these destinations. For example, what about the accommodations? Is this family friendly? And travel agents are supposed to be able to keep going with the questions and to try to convince them to choose their travel agency. This activity, they will have to rotate between booths, and then they will have to exchange roles. Those who were travelers are going to be travel agents as well, and this is going to last around 10 minutes. And at the end of the class, at the closure, or perhaps a little bit before the closure, that it's going to take 15 minutes, they will have to share their decisions, which booth they chose, which destination, and the whole class is supposed to discuss on why and what called their attention on the travel agency and what didn't. And this is going to be led by the teacher, of course, by highlighting effective use of expressions, addressing any language challenges. And since this is the last formative assessment before the summative test, it's supposed to address all of the topics and functions and expressions that we've been progressively working on during the unit. And that was our class. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.